How are you getting on, folks? Look at Clonmel turned out to be a very, very good day. Four winners out of the whole lot. Magic Days, Capitano, Quarry Lil, Temple Bredon. Obviously the three shorter prices like they were in a treble that was suggested, but for the nap and the next best to come in, it's a good of a day as any. Moving on now to tomorrow in Navan. It's a very, very nice card by the looks of it. Some great value here. I'll just rattle off a couple here now: 13 to 2, 14 to 1, 25 to 1, 4 to 1, 11 to 4, and 4 to 1. So make sure your ears are well peeled back now for this one. Then, as well as that, I'll be just flying through the ITV picks now for tomorrow. But we may as well just crack things in and start it off. The 12:05 in Navan now tomorrow. I am personally going to be going with Rula Bula. Currently priced in around 13 to 2. I think it's great each way value here. Look at the mare herself. She's been sort of frustrating enough to follow. Like, you think that she's going to be going fairly well, and she ends up disappointing a little bit, but I suppose everything's starting to fall into place there now for her. Like, she's just starting to get to a stage now where I suppose she's just coming in under the radar a little bit. Coming from Willie Mullins and Paul Townend, you rarely see the two of them teaming up in a horse at four or is 6 to 1 or above. Like, but yeah, Rula Bula, like she should be well capable of at least finishing in the top three, I would imagine. And um, personally speaking, I think the short price favourite here is a little bit exposed and just could be, I suppose, prone to be passed by an improving sort, and I think Rula Bula is exactly that. 122 I'm not going to be covering simply because it's my patron tip of the day. 157 then I am going to go with Winston C. Currently priced in around 14 to 1. Look at the yard in question. Like, they're an American yard, and they're just over here for a few months, but Jesus, looking at the way things have gone for them, it's certainly got plenty of, I suppose, potential more so than ability. Like, I don't really know what to make of Winston C on overall form, or whether he'll be able to get there or not. But realistically, French Light was a very, very decent second last time out in Clonmel. It's clear as day that the horses are in form for this particular setup, and look at 14 to 1. It seems to be a big price, and it could be well supported on the day. And hopefully, look at for the sake of the connections, like, I'd love to see it going on to, if it doesn't place, I'd love to see it going on to win. 14 to 1 looks to be overpriced in my personal opinion. 232 then. Possibly my next best bet of the day, but it's also the biggest price as an each way perspective. Sir Bob at 25 to 1 for Robert Tyner and Mark Walsh. Cast your minds back to last year when they were second in this race, and it was a very, very unlucky second last time out. It just looked like that Sir Bob met an awful lot of trouble in running, and was just, you could say, touched off basically on the line. Well, I wouldn't say more so on the line, but it was still a very, very gallant second all the same. The fact that it was second in this race last year, it's clear as day that it's a big fan of this track, and it's a big fan of these conditions, and everything else seems to be falling into place for this particular horse in this race alone. But I would be seriously considering an each way punt at 25 to 1. I think it's a massive price for him, and I certainly think that he's got more capability than most in this particular field. And if I'm not mistaken, Bet365 are paying something like 3 or 4 or 5 places. So realistically, all he has to do is put in a similar enough effort than last time out. And as well as that, Tyner's yard is starting to hit the form. They're currently going off a 10% strike rate for the last 2 weeks, and Mark Walsh is, I think off 25%. So realistically, like, it's not without question that this horse has plenty of ability and plenty of potential, but it's all about which Sir Bob turns up in the day. Like, he's put up a few duck eggs there now in the past couple of times, but realistically, I think this is the target and this is what they're aiming for. And look, at hopefully it'll be a clear round and a safe round for him. But if he does stay on his feet, I would be expecting him to be there in the finish. And a 25-1 is definitely well worth a little bit of an each way punt. 307 then. I am going to be going with the big dog at 4-1. I'm going to be avoiding Lord Royal and the Jigginstown horse here now. It's just gone out. It's gone out of my head, but the big dog for Peter Fahey and Kevin Sexton is definitely well worth considering as well. Look, it was well supported today in Thurles when it came down, unfortunately, behind that Henry de Bromhead smart horse. And it would put in a career best performance in Punchestown last time out. Now, that farm is working out fairly well. So realistically, you would be expecting the big dog to improve and come on for the run. Basically, I think 4-1 is overpriced. I think he should be shorter than that. I would nearly expect him to be shorter at that at the time of the off tomorrow. And overall, I certainly think it's well worth considering at 4-1. It's certainly there to be shot at. Basically, 342 then is going to be another win fancy here now with Johnny's Girl at 11-4 for Norman Lee and Garage Brooder here, simply because it was a very, very easy winner last time out in Limerick. Very much like the conditions that it's going to be meeting tomorrow. I can't expect it to be anything better than soft. Realistically, I would be sort of hoping that this horse would be able to produce a strong late run in the finish, and with Garage Brooder being well suited to that sort of style, I certainly think, look at it, it's well worth considering, and it should be certainly in the pipeline. Basically, look at Norman Lee. Norman Lee is starting to hit form now, and he's put up some very good runs with his horses of late. As well as that, Garage Brooder is definitely one of the better jockeys to be on in the finish. So when all things considered, it's certainly going to be suited to a track like Navan. I would be sort of hopeful that it won't be too far off the pace, and then just coming around the final bend, I'd be expecting it to see maybe just starting to pick off a few tired rivals and I suppose make it a good dogfight up to the finish, basically. Last race of the day then, the bumper here. Gordon Elliott is an odds-on favourite here, but I'm going to be going against it. I'm going to be going with Tom Mullins and Charlie Mullins here with Tuscan Train at 4-1. It was a very, very good second last time out in Leopardstown behind Gallard de Menil for Willie Mullins, who has since... No, he hasn't gone on to win since, but the form has been backed up with a couple of winners in behind the two of them. So realistically, it's well worth considering that Tom could have a very nice horse on his hands here, and it should be well considered for a nice little bit of a punt. I don't really think that this favourite here for Gordon Elliott's, look at it, it's obviously worthy favourite. It's coming from a great family, and it's coming from a great house, basically. But I just think that it's not going to be suited to heavy ground conditions. I think that the horse is going to tire, and around Navan as well. Like, you need to have the ground right for your particular horse. And I certainly think that it's going to maybe cause a bit of trouble for the favourite here now tomorrow. I just think Tuscan Train is better priced at 4-1, and he should be definitely putting it up to the favourite in the finish. Moving on then to the ITV, I'm not going to spend too much time with this. 115, I've personally gone with Eglantine Desai. I think it's got a nice enough chance, and it's definitely got the beating of the likes of Roxana and everything else like that. When you think of like the Cheltenham farm and everything else in between, obviously look at Eglantine Desai hasn't really ran a great race in anywhere bar Cheltenham, but if form if the form book really comes into it, like Eglantine Desai should be definitely there in the finish at 9-2. 130 then added to Prada at 5-1 is definitely another big price one here. Put up a string of wins there over the last couple of runs, and it should be well capable of going on to improve it even more. So 150 then I'm going to go with Paddy's Motorbike at 7-1, only really because I like the name and my grandfather's name is Paddy. But that's basically it. Usually these little things they turn out to be lucky at the end of the day, and I think a 7-1 is a nice enough price. 210 if the cap fits is my next best here. I definitely think it has a great chance at 11-4, and it should be definitely well considered. 240 then we're going from the next best to the nap of the day. Royal Parada, or no, not Royal Parada, Royal Pegale or Pegale, whatever way you want to pronounce it. Venetia Williams, Rich Richie colours, currently priced in around 9-4, should be definitely thereabouts in the finish. It's turned out to be a revelation for the Venetia Williams. 3 o'clock then, Dashel Drasher at 13-2 looks to be a very, very nice horse. 315 and 335 is going to be a little double here now for me. I honestly can't see Bouvier being beaten, and I definitely can't see Politolog being beaten either. So realistically, the best value there between the two of them there is to double them up and take the price of in around 9-4, whatever they're offered. But that's all for me. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for the patron. It's €10 a month for those who want to sign up. But I suppose if you are going to be signing up new and you'd be strapped enough for cash, you're nearly better off to wait till February, simply because it's an automatic payment and it comes out the first day of every month. So realistically, look at if you're looking to get tips and you're not really, I suppose, too worried about paying the tenner again on the 1st of February. Look, I leave a link in the description below, but other than that, that's basically it. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a great day again, and very best of luck for those who want to jump on. I know there's some very big price each ways in here, but look at if we can get a few places tomorrow, we'd be very, very happy. And look at, thanks very much. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and the very best of luck tomorrow.